On with Writing. I'm John Hadaway. Okay, so as part of the reading portion of Reading and Writing every day, what we're going to do for the next several weeks, probably, is to read The Hobbit. There we go. Okay, so. Okay, my copy is relatively new. You should have a copy of your own. If you don't, library, whatever. But as one of the things that I have done on the website is to create a reading section, and under that, The Hobbit. There's a couple things that go in there. This should be in the introduction. But each chapter has a list of questions. They're designed as guided reading questions. What that means is that in some cases I want you to just go into the text and to literally pull out what I'm asking you to look for. There are quotes that I want you to pull out and just directly use. In other cases, I'm asking you to interpret what it is that I'm asking for, meaning that you've got a lot more latitude. I'm looking more for an answer in the way you think than I am about what the answer is. Objectively, what you are trying to do is to read The Hobbit and to immerse yourself. Each chapter, there are a series of questions, and those questions are really designed as guided reading questions. What I mean by guided reading is that they're asking you to just read the text and in some cases interpret what the text is saying so that I can see what you see. And in other cases, I'm literally asking you to go into the text, find a quote, and to copy the quote down. Now, in addition to the questions, there are vocabulary terms. And when I say vocabulary, I'm not actually asking you to go to a dictionary and to look up the definition. That might help, but that's not the objective of the vocabulary questions. What I want you to do is I want you to read the book. And using your mad skills as a reader, I want you to define the words and terms that are being used in the way they're being used. One thing that's going to come up again and again and again, and I don't know why I kept focusing on this, but is the use of the word queer. Okay? Today, it means entirely something different than it did back when Tolkien was using the word in this book. And so when we talk about queer, it's going to show up again and again, often as a modifier to a noun. So it's an adjective modifying a noun. And in many cases, I'm asking for the phrase, the queer whatever, and how you are going to define that. And once you've defined it the first time, chances are you just have to reinterpret that initial definition so that it fits the way that Tolkien is writing about the Hobbit, the dwarves, Gandalf, just the entire affair. Fortunately, there is a lot of wiggle room when it comes to me asking you questions. While I do have an answer in my head, I'm not asking you to interpret things the way that I interpret them. What I'm asking you to do is to give me a little insight into the way you think and the way you read. Why would I want insight into the way you think and read? Well, it's pretty simple. The way you think and read also tells me how you may write and how you may approach things. And as I begin to read your input, or as I begin to look at your input to the questions, then the outcome of that is I can start to look and help channel my efforts toward things that might help you better improve. That's it for this video. Again, 19 chapters of The Hobbit. You can read it as fast or as slow as you want, but you do have to fill out the questions and you do have to define the terms. A lot of it is subjective, meaning your opinion, especially with the terms. But ultimately, by the time you're done with the 19 chapters, there will be 19 sets of pages that you will have answered questions for. Okay? Alright, see you next video.